I've now removed my foil and aluminium from the outside of this battery box. It didn't seem to do anything, so now I'm going to have to remove the lid and actually get at the wires inside this battery box. So that's the controller. I've got it bolted to this aluminium plate at the bottom, a reasonably thick one. There's a bit of a heat sink. It's sort of gone through various stages over the years in the car, gone into different places, but I've still got that bit of aluminium on there. Sits on top of this other aluminium cover here, this thin one. This is what it's like on the top of this battery box here. So the communications comes in here. I think it goes this direction actually. And so it's got a line out there, and when it comes back up, yeah, so let's see, so it comes in along there, goes along that line, down those cells, back either that side or this side, I'm not sure which, and then up here, comes out of this line and through here into there. Now neither of these are twisted and neither of these are shielded, other than the metal plate on top and the metal plate underneath, and then the one either side is also not shielded, and the one either side has now, I've removed a metal plate which would have done a bit of shielding on that one. So I might see what I can do to twist these and shield them, and shield the other one somehow. Also earth, this is currently floating. I might put some kind of connector in there so that I can run an earth strap. Sorry, the video hasn't captured me taking this battery, the module out of this box, but anyway, I just sort of lifted it out. And here it is over on the table now. So the communications line that I was talking about before along the side goes along this side. This is the same side that I put my experimental bit of aluminium on top of to stop the communications problem, and it didn't work, but it was the right side for it. So yes, I need to do something about shielding all of these things. We'll see what I've come up with. What I've used previously for these communications cables here is old ribbon cable. So I've got a whole heap of this in the cupboard, and you take out 2 strands of that. That stuff's very light. It's very good for wobbly vibration type situations. But it isn't shielded and it isn't twisted. It wouldn't be too difficult to twist it, I don't think. But if I'm going to go the whole hog, I happen to have some cable in the cupboard. I didn't know I had this, but it's a shielded single pair. So I'm going to try putting that into this battery module, particularly for this one along here, and we'll see how we go. I'll push it. It looks like I should be able to push it through. I've been looking at this shield and thinking what I'm going to do with it. So it's better if it can be earthed. It's better earthing at one end than neither end. It's better earthing at both ends than one end. I think I might go earth at one end. It's not a very long distance here. And so I need to go in there, which is all around the electrical connection. So I want to make sure that I insulate it all quite well. So I might strip off a little bit more, and then I'll put this connector on here. So I'll crimp that on there onto the shield, and then sort of put some heat shrink around it, tape it up so that it's all sitting there, and then run a plug into there which I can run to an earth somewhere. This is what I've come up with for my shielding attempts. I have replaced the communications line that goes from one side to the other. It was from this untwisted pair to a twisted and shielded pair. It's earthed on one end. The earthing wire comes up here and is attached to the side of the battery module, the frame of the battery module. The other shielded cable here is from this end and will plug into where it comes into the battery box itself. That's also earthed. The shield is earthed on one end back to the frame here. I will connect the frame of this battery module to earth, which it wasn't before. I've also, on the ends here, these perspex covers on the ends, I've covered with some foil, with some aluminium foil tape. It's not earthed, and that's an attempt to shield the unshielded cables that are in here. I've twisted each of these lines that go through here, but I haven't shielded them individually, and I've just done that shielding over top. But it is not earthed. We'll see how this goes. In the battery box here, I've now shortened the cable run here. So this one now uses a twisted pair to go that short distance here. It used to run up there and back a bit. And this one has this distance until it gets to the shielded part of the run that I put in before. So we still do have some unshielded cables in here. But not as much as it used to be. Here we are the next morning. It's pretty cool this morning. This is my indoor-outdoor thermometer I've got in the Brumby. So the outdoor thing there, the 3, is the temperature in a little sender in there. Keep that in the car. I just have the 12-volt battery and the throttle to connect. I think that's all I've got. Then I should be able to go and test it. So I've got it hooked in, and meter says 155.5 volts. The BMS says 155.6 volts, so that looks like I've got the wiring in the battery box around the right way. So I've just completed my isolation test. This is a test that I do for safety to check how isolated the main traction battery is from the chassis. I've got a video on how I do that, and I've just done that now to check, because I've earthed the frame of the battery module in there. It wasn't earthed before. I thought I'd better check the isolation, make sure that's still good, and it is still fine. It's at 3 milliamps at the moment. Spec is not more than 20. I put in my cable there to monitor the BMS readings while I'm driving. I'm just about ready to go for my test drive. Let's turn it on and make sure everything works under here.
So I've been for my test run and have the results here to look at on the computer. Here's our baseline run on the left here and the run we just did on the right. They look exactly the same. So this has made no difference whatsoever, which is very disappointing. So I have the box open now and I can see here that where the communications lines come in, it actually comes in, so it comes in from the rear of the car all the way through and it goes to the other end first. And so our first one is over there, which means it has all this opportunity to get interference all the way through here, as well as it's already travelled all the way from the back of the car. So one of the things I might do is I'll change it so that it goes first to this one. I just got to rearrange the wiring in the modules, circuit boards here, just unplug these and plug them into a different way around, which is fine. It doesn't matter which way around these modules go. And I'll pull this out and see what else I can figure out to do. Here's my newly insulated battery module. So I've increased the size of these covers on the end here and put foil on so there's perspex under there and this foil tape over top. The cover on the top didn't used to have any tape on at all. Now it has tape on it, both sides, both ends. What else have I done? Also, I've connected those to earth. So before the ones at the ends were not grounded, now they are. The whole frame is grounded, so I've put in things in there to connect them through. And let's see. Oh, so I've changed the battery modules communication, so they now go in this direction instead of that direction, which means when the signal first comes in, it doesn't have to travel across there, it goes straight to this one. And the box itself, I have now also lined with foil. And I'm hoping this is going to be enough. Battery module is now in the battery box. We've got earthing through this wire here onto the battery module frame itself. Now that will be touching the edges, but I also have earthing here, which goes on top of the metal lid. So we have an aluminium lid that goes over top of this as well to complete our Faraday cage. With the communications line, we've got this one here, which is shielded. It's not shielded right here, where it goes up into here. I've put a little bit of foil underneath that tape there. The other one comes in and goes underneath here. You can just see it there. And I've also got this other cover to go on top. It slots in, just sits in there like that. And since it's touching each edge, it should also be earthed. Just to test that everything's earthed all right. So without this earth strap here, we're just relying on the one on the battery module itself. Then if I find a handy, here we go, this will do, chassis earth. They're all earthed. I've got some insulation on in here because some of this high voltage stuff runs past. Same over here, but everywhere else, yep, insulation, no insulation. Good. Good news. I've just done a test run and same place I went before, and I don't have any communications gaps. So you can see here the difference between the baseline run and the run I did today. No gaps at all anywhere through. So after I did the same run as I did last time, I saw there were no gaps, and so then I went for a bit longer drive with lots of hard accelerations, and there were no gaps anywhere, which is fantastic. Now what that means is that I can now collect data for the volts during heavy accelerations on all the cells. I was able to do this before, but not for those 4 cells that were losing communications. And so I've done that now. And yeah, in the really hard accelerations here, the cells are all more or less there or thereabouts. There's no weird outliers. So it all looks good. So thanks for watching my latest misadventure of the Brumby, and I'll see you again next time.